You know Graybar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Graybar does that.
Welcome into the latest edition of the Show Before the Show podcast, the official podcast of minor league baseball. I do a weekly countdown before we start recording, and you can tell that in the 3, 2, 1, in those seconds, if I didn't think of anything unique and creative to open the show with, you can hear my disappointment with myself, which I feel was very evident on this week's episode of the Show Before the Show.
You don't have to call it out.
You can just no one would have known that, Tyler. No one would have known.
Yeah. I'm one of those people who, like, if I, post a picture on Instagram and there's like a little bit of ketchup on my shirt, I'm like, don't look at the ketchup on my shirt. And then everybody does. I'm not good. I'm not good at ignoring these things. I want to be open with our listening public.
And that's why we are who we are. If nothing else, in this opening segment, every week we get into baseball news. We talk about lots of, we bring on fun guests. We bring in Josh, but we are ourselves from the beginning.
Exactly. I like that way of looking at it, Sam. Well, that's Sam Dykstra, and along with Benjamin Hill, those two in New York City. My name is Tyler Maughan in Denver, Colorado, and we welcome you into another episode of the official podcast of minor league baseball. Thanks for hanging out with us. We had such a fun interview last week. We got a chance to catch up with Ronnie Gajownik, the newest manager of the High A Hillsboro Hops. We got some really awesome feedback about that, including from friend of the show, Kevin Delaria, who got in touch to let us know just how much he enjoyed that episode. If you too would like to get in touch, podcast@milb.com. You can find us on social media at Sam Dykstra, MILB, at Ben's Biz, and at Tyler Maughan. That conversation was just so much fun. And to now get a chance to see that career progress onto the field, see how much everybody has now started to see Ronnie Gajownik as this new pillar and trailblazer in minor league baseball is super cool. And we're still 2 months away from opening day. Like, there's so much exciting stuff getting set to lead us into 2023. Now, with all that, we are kind of in the calm before the storm. It's about 2 weeks until pitchers and catchers report, and everything sort of goes into one of those silent periods, like a re-entry on a spaceship. And that's sort of where it feels like we are right now. Like, there's not a lot going on at the moment. We're getting some non-roster invitations. Still got good stuff coming up on the site, ballpark guides and all the rest, but it's kind of quiet. We're all getting ready. It's like the night before Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels that way in terms of like the non-roster invites or the crackling you hear on these space shuttles when it's coming through. It's like, Houston, can you hear us? Houston, can you hear us? It's just like Tamar Johnson got invited to Pirates camp. Jackson Holiday is going to Orioles camp. That being said, I don't know, Ben, you can speak to this as well as I can, but like, this feels like a very busy time of the year because it's preparing for the onslaught that's coming. Like, we just got done with our top 100. We talked about that last week. I'm in full top 30s mode now, which is like top 100 to the nth degree, because now all of a sudden you're writing about 30 guys in multiple systems. It's not just top 100 in baseball. That's a lot of research. That's a lot of talking to people, a lot of writing. So if you might not see my stuff on the site as much anymore, it's because a lot is coming at the end of February, and I'm very excited to get it out there.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I've been talking with Sam about that in the office this week, where after kind of a lot of January feeling like a slog, all of a sudden it just sort of little things are popping up, like, oh, we got to do this. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, this needs to get written. Oh, I'm going to put this on a list for something to cover later. So while right now we're kind of talking about not having much to talk about, while soon having so much to talk about, but that's really what it is. Things are really starting to pop off. Here in February, obviously Black History Month, the 9 initiative that minor league baseball does. Many teams are participating in that. That's going to be a lot of great stuff to talk about, later this month, but also, just throughout the season as teams do this kind of thing. I mean, just looking at Twitter now, the Wichita Wind Surge announced that they're going to be playing a game as the Wichita Monrovians, who were a semi-pro team in Wichita. And I learned about them a little bit when I visited Wichita last year, but there's this crazy story with the Monrovians. Is in 1925 they played a game against the Ku Klux Klan, against like the local chapter of the Ku Klux Klan, and won.
Wow.
So the team, the Wind Surge, in their press release said that's something that they're going to be, promoting, exploring, telling that story, and that's just one of so many stories all over, minor league markets across the country. Telling their local histories with Negro League baseball, Black semi-professional baseball, and so on and so forth. So trust us, we're taking notes. there's a lot of stuff about to happen, and of course, there's the big sports news right now is not necessarily baseball. Eagles in the Super Bowl, go Eagles, and Tom Brady retired. And so yesterday on Twitter, I put up what I believe to be true, and which certainly other people had shared about, hey, today, the last active player drafted by the Expos retired today, because Tom Brady was drafted by the Expos and held this distinction of being the last drafted Expo, which is true in all the major sports leagues. But if someone tries to pass along that nugget, like I did erroneously yesterday, please keep in mind that there are still professionals out there playing baseball who are drafted by the Expos who are not Tom Brady. We got Brandon Phillips still playing, I think, in Lexington. He's been there the last couple of years in independent ball, and a pitcher named Darryl Thompson, who was drafted by the Expos, I think, in 2003, who's still playing in the Atlantic League. So the Expos, they're still alive, not dead yet. Just had to get that out there, so everyone knows the truth.
It is really pretty amazing. Brandon Phillips had a big league career in which he played in over 1,900 games over parts of 17 seasons. His big league career ended 5 years ago, and he's still been playing indie ball. Like, good for him. Brandon Phillips still getting after it out there at 41, almost 42 years old. He'll be 42 this summer. That's fantastic. Second round pick of the Expos. Not only a pick of a franchise that's no longer around, he was a pick not even in this millennium. He was a second round pick in 1999.
Yeah, I mean, the guy just loves ball, like that, and God bless him for that. It kind of ties in with Tom Brady. It was just like, guy kept playing year after year, even like we thought he was retired a year ago, played again. I'm not saying Brandon Phillips is the Tom Brady of baseball, but kudos to guys who just keep finding opportunities and keep plugging away at it. Like, it's a fun game to play, and if you can get paid to do it, and I'm sure Brandon Phillips has money left over from his MLB career, he's not in it to make a little extra scratch in Lexington. He's in it just to play every day, and God bless him for it.
And congratulations on retirement for the next few weeks for a future San Francisco 49ers quarterback, Tom Brady. Ben, you were going to say something. I cut you off.
Oh, no. But I was going to say, speaking of trivia and Tom Brady, obviously another thing in the news recently, Scott Rowland to the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Scott Rowland. And of course, anytime a minor league player makes it to the Hall of Fame, I look at their minor league stats, and Rowland played through the entirety of what was the Philly system at that time, including all of 1994 with the Spartanburg Phillies, who were in existence, and that was the last year of the Spartanburg Phillies, who began in 1964, 64 to 1994, Class A South Atlantic League. Scott Rowland becomes the second Spartanburg Philly to make it to the Hall of Fame. And this is a team that existed in the 60s, 70s, 80s, into the early 90s. Who is the other Spartanburg Philly who made it to the Hall of Fame?
This is a very good question. I'm gonna give a guess. But first I want to know if Sam's gonna give a guess.
No, you said you had a guess first. You have to get it out first.
My guess is Mike Schmidt.
Yeah, that was gonna be my guess.
That's the obvious guess, a great guess, but he only played for Reading and Eugene during the several years when Eugene was in the Pacific Coast League. He played for Eugene, but he was only in Reading and Eugene. Of course, his career fits. He was a homegrown player. His career fits right into the Spartanburg Phillies timeline, but he was not a Spartanburg Philly.
Here's my second guess. It's somebody who you don't think of as a Philly. Did they come up through the Philly system and then have a lengthy career that put him in the Hall of Fame through somewhere else?
They might have, yes.
Okay. I've got no idea.
Yes, that is your clue. He did play for the Phillies, but very briefly, and his Hall of Fame career credentials were all established with another club, this former Spartanburg Philly.
Just one other club?
Just one, yes. It's looked back on now as one of the worst trades in Phillies history. I believe they might have gotten Manny Trio out of the deal, who was, a very good player in his own right, but they gave up this future Hall of Famer.
Man.
Why am I drawing a complete blank on this?
He went on to a fellow National League team. They were an NL East team at the time, now in the NL Central.
Okay. Oh, man.
He was an infielder. He was at one time the highest paid player in Major League Baseball, I believe, hitting $7 million in the 90s.
It's not like Harold. No, it's not Harold Baines.
I think I have a guess. Is it Ryne Sandberg?
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, nicely done,
Tyler. I was like, I'm pretty sure Ryne Sandberg broke in with the Phillies. Oh, I'm very happy that I.
Yep, he was a Spartanburg Philly. Debuted with the Phillies in, I believe, '82, but only played a handful of games. Got traded, and then went on to a Hall of Fame career. And the Spartanburg Phillies went on to become the team that is now known today as the Kannapolis Cannonballers.
Ah, okay. So they became the Intimidators and now the Cannonballers, and very cool stuff.
Well, first the Piedmont Phillies, then the Piedmont Boll Weevils.
The Boll Weevils.
Then the Kannapolis Intimidators and Cannonballers, but that was all within Kannapolis. That's the Piedmont and Kannapolis era, all in Kannapolis. But Spartanburg before that, Ryne Sandberg and Scott Rowland in the exclusive Spartanburg Philly alumni to the Baseball Hall of Fame club.
It's a small club, but a very cool one to be part of.
And I don't think it will grow from there, but we'll see.
Well, Ben, we're set to pivot to a really fun interview for this week. That's some great minor league baseball trivia, and a guy who probably knows as much minor league baseball top to bottom as anybody else in the industry right now. Just got his call to the big leagues. We just talked to him a little while ago. It was such a fun conversation. Tee it up for us on this week.
Yeah, Johnny Doskow, minor league broadcaster since 1993, spent the last 22 years with the Sacramento River Cats. Did a little bit of MLB fill-in work through the years, but now he's in his 50s, still with the Sacramento River Cats until now. Johnny got the call to the Oakland Athletics, and it was a delight to have him on the podcast. Such a good dude, and dreams do come true, even after 30 years in the minor leagues, which is its own sort of dream, but making it to the major leagues, and we talked to him all about it.
When you want your spring break to feel like and your kids' pool day to feel like and your hotel bed to feel like and room service to feel like, because at Hilton, hospitality feels like
your cabana's ready. Would you like fresh towels?
It matters where you stay. Book now at Hilton.com. Hilton, for the stay.
Here on the Show Before the Show podcast, we are joined by Johnny Doskow, who, after 30 years in minor league baseball, got the call up to the Oakland A's. He is now a member of their broadcast team, and we had to get him on the show to talk about that after such a long minor league career and finally realizing his dream. So, first of all, Johnny, thanks for being here and congratulations.
Thanks, fellas. Great to see you. I'm excited, and it's been wild the last several weeks. It's been kind of crazy, but really cool, and just blown away with the love I've had from so many people through the years. As we talked about earlier, like after 30 years, you meet a lot of people along the way. So people are invested in you, and they're happy for you. So it feels good.
Yeah. So on social media, Twitter, Instagram, you often see videos of players when they're called up and they get the call up, from the manager's office or what the case may be. What is your call up story when you knew this was real and you were making your way to Major League Baseball?
It's funny, Ben. I always dreamed of that. Like, I wish it could be like a player where I'm brought into the office and they play some kind of joke on me and they say, "Oh, just kidding, you're called up." And so I always figured it'd be that way, but it wasn't that way. Dallaire reached out to me several months ago and said, we may have something for you. No promises. We may have something, may have created a job for you. So it wasn't the traditional where you hear about the job, you send out your stuff, and then you just wait. Mostly, getting ready for the rejection email or rejection letter. So this was a little bit different. So I had an idea that it was coming, but also it had to work for the A's too. So that was so it was over the course of several months that it kind of happened. So it wasn't sudden, but still when I got the actual offer, it was emotional. And because I've been, like everyone in this business, and you're in the minor leagues, your heart's been broken so many times with jobs you think you have a chance at, and it doesn't happen. So I didn't want to put my heart out there and get broken again. So I really didn't think I had it until I actually got the offer. I wouldn't allow myself to even go there, so that's kind of how it all went down.
Yeah, understandable. And as we said, this comes after 30 years in minor league baseball, 22 with the Sacramento River Cats. But it all started in 1993 with the Cedar Rapids Colonels, then as of now, members of the Midwest League. If we could start at the beginning for a little bit, and how did you get in, and what was it like, the minor leagues in 1993, working in Cedar Rapids?
Yeah, in 1992, I was working. I got a job in 1991 in Northeast Iowa, working for a group of radio stations called the Super C Radio Network. It was Cresco, Osage, New Hampton, and oh my gosh, really? I'm going to forget this. Osage, Cresco, Charles City, and New Hampton. So those four, the Super C Radio Network. And I worked that job for a couple of years, and I found out about this job opening in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So the guy in lowers are coming here. The guy, Jack Rader, who was the boss then, he basically, I sent him my stuff, and he said, well, what do you want for a salary? And I didn't know what these salaries were. So I put some obnoxious salary, like 180,000. He got me back. He's like, we don't pay that. Sorry. We don't pay that. So, it was a situation where he said, I'm sorry, we can't. I go, no, Jack, I didn't know. I don't know what they pay. So let me redo that. So what he said was, you can sell advertising. If you sell enough advertising, like $30,000 worth of advertising, that'll justify your job. So if you don't sell it, you agree to go back to California. So I agreed to it. It looked like we were not going to get it done. And then at the last second, a big sale came in, and I was able to get the job. So that's where I kind of started in 1993 with Cedar Rapids. The first series was against South Bend, the South Bend Silverhawks, South Bend, the White Sox affiliate. And they it snowed out. First four games were snowed out in Cedar Rapids. So I moved basically from Los Angeles from Cresco, Iowa to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and had that job for 3 years. But we were not a staff that had a lot going on. We had 4 members of our full-time staff, and we had I remember in 1993 we had a vote on whether to get a fax machine or a mascot. And we chose the mascot, Mr. Shucks. So so I was there in 93, 4, and 5. We had a porta potty in the off season because no running water in the off season. So you had a porta potty for the, and so it was great though. I was there in the Midwest League, which was a great league. I was so happy to be in pro ball, and I was there for 3 years before I landed the job in High Desert. But that 94 team had Benji Molina on it, Jason Dixon, had some pretty good players, and we won the Midwest League. We beat the Rockford Royals in the finals. So it was fun 3 years for sure in Cedar Rapids. I enjoyed it.
Johnny, it's cool because you were kind of at the really the start of this renaissance of minor league baseball, that mid-90s swing into the late 90s, and then new ballparks and wacky team names and all the stuff that's come along over the last generation that we think about with minor league baseball. When you think back to that first job, you could go back and talk to that kid who took that job in Cedar Rapids and compare what minor league baseball is now to what it is then. What do you think that conversation would be like?
That's a great question. It has changed so much. And there have been I remember the West Michigan Whitecaps, those stadiums were huge and new. And it was just you were just honored to be a part of it, and I just said, this is wonderful. I'm going to do my 3 years here, and then I'm going to go straight to the big leagues in 1996. What could go wrong, right? I'm going to get there. And, but you're right. It is so different now, and things are so much more advanced now. It's a different game for sure, but there are so many beautiful stadiums now in minor league baseball. Before like that West Michigan Whitecaps, Old Kent Park, that was the pretty much the crown jewel of the Midwest League, and now all the ballparks, Lansing and all these Dayton, all these ballparks are beautiful now. So it is a different deal. And look, the minor leagues, it's just a different scene now than it was when I was coming up. At Cedar Rapids, the old Veterans Memorial Stadium was kind of old, but it was classic. I love those classic stadiums. So yeah, it is. I look back at it, and it is really different. I thought the road was going to be a little smoother, but you look. You really never work a day in your life when you're broadcasting even minor league baseball. Yeah, the nights are shorter, the early wake ups, especially in the Coast League, those 4 a.m. wake ups. But I wouldn't have changed anything. I wouldn't have changed one thing about it. But yeah, it's definitely changed for sure.
Let me ask you the mechanics of the broadcasting side. Obviously, talk about a world of difference. What you're able to access and research and learn about now compared to when you started your career, and even from the technical standpoint of like the equipment that you would have been using when you first got started. What has been the biggest advancement? Do you think? Like, take us back to what a day in the booth was like in 1994 versus what it was like in 2022.
It's a great question. I think it was more. It was. I don't even remember doing research on the internet back then. Like, you know what I mean? Like 1993,
yeah,
94,
like I feel like you wouldn't have been able to. There wasn't anything.
Exactly. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have any of that. So I think you did your research by talking to people. I think it's just kind of, that's kind of how it was back then. I don't remember, I didn't have a cell phone until like 99 or 2000, I think. So, yeah, I remember having a computer back then. I don't think I had a computer. So I look back at it. It's just like, it's like almost like when you get the Google directions, how do we even get anywhere? Right.
So, exactly. Well, and like what I always think about too is, if you listen to an old time broadcast of, a Vin Scully call of the Dodgers and the Giants at Ebbets Field in the mid 50s, like I don't even know how they had like up to date stats. Like, oh, this guy's hitting, 317 coming into the day today. Like, when you think about it now, it's so easy to pull it up, but was there somebody just running team just like printing off, handing out printouts? Like, I don't even know.
I don't either. I don't know how we did it, but we found a way to get it done though. And we broadcast games and it was fine, just there's so much information now that it's a whole different animal. But again, it's the passion for it, the love you have for it, even back in the day. It's just that it didn't seem to matter. You know what I mean? Like we just found a way to get the information, found a way to paint the picture for the fans. But no question, I always think about that. Like, what did I do back then? How did I even research? How did I even do homework? So yeah, it is a lot different. But again, it was is what we had at the time, right?
Yeah, and speaking of transitions, going from the 90s to now, but now you're making another transition from the minor leagues to the major leagues.
Yeah.
What is that transition going to be like? Because in one way, I think like the minor leagues, we cover it a lot of people pay attention to it, but it's not the big leagues. The big leagues, a lot of people already bring something to the table. So how is that going to change, not necessarily your broadcasting style, but the way you prep, everything that goes into a major league broadcast versus what you've been doing at Triple-A?
Yeah, I mean the prep is obviously so critical as it was when I was in the minor leagues. I prep hard, and I'm going to do the same thing here, prep even harder now, just to do more research. I think I'll probably do a little more research on the major leagues now. Obviously, you're in the big leagues and research the major leagues, but I think look, I'm new to this. This is new for me, so I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna learn from these. We're fortunate to have Ken and Vinny and Dallas and Glenn and Townie and Cody, all these guys, and Jessica Kleinschmidt. So I'm gonna learn from all of them. I'm part of this broadcast team, and I'm the rookie. Again, I'm older, but I am the rookie. So I'm gonna just kind of learn as I go, and they're gonna have me do a bunch of things, which will be fun. I'm kind of the Sean Figgins, where I'll be doing, some pre and some post and some play-by-play and some A's cast and some podcasting and all different kinds of things. So I'm excited for the variety of it. I'm used to doing 150 games a year where I'm the guy just do the play-by-play. So I'm excited about kind of the variety of things that I will do. I've never done talk before, so that A's cast thing will be new for me. So I'm excited about that kind of challenge, and to challenge myself to be to learn more about the game and about. I mean, all the rule changes now, right? The pitch clock and the bigger bases and the pickoffs and all that. So I saw those in Triple-A. So to get the opportunity to see that now at the big league level, to answer your question. I don't know, right? Like it's going to be new. It's going to be new, but I'm excited about the new challenge and excited about what's to come. I really am.
Yeah, and what do you feel like is going to transition the easiest then? Just given all your experience over the years, you've done so many, different levels. You've seen the game grow in these 30 years, but what do you feel like day one you're going to feel the most comfortable about?
I think just, the thing I'm going to be most comfortable with is just the fact that I know every single A's coach except one. So I'm going to be comfortable with the personnel. I know from Kotze on down, I know everybody. So that helps the comfort level. I only know one player. I know Sam Moll. That's the only player I know on the A's 40-man roster. So I'll get to know the players a little bit. But having those coaches as a base and knowing a lot of the minor league guys like Scarsoni and Fran Reardon and those guys. So I'm very fortunate and Bobby Crosby. So that's going to help me a lot to have that base of knowledge and to kind of get a comfort level. Darren Bush was our manager with the River Cats. He's now the bench coach. I know Scott Emerson. I know Emo really well. Eric Martins, all those guys, Chris Crone. So I feel that is going to help me a lot with the comfort level and just play by play. I've done over 4,000 minor league games. So I'll be really hungry because I'm not doing as much play by play. So when I do get a chance to do some play by play, I'll be hungry to do it. Because, even when I'm doing the games, Vinny's going to be, I'm working with Vinny mostly. Vince Cotroneo is awesome. He's going to do 6 innings. I'll do 3 innings. So I'm not even doing 9 innings when I do play-by-play. So the innings I do, I'm going to be really excited to get my hands on those innings. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. And you mentioned knowing a lot of the coaches of this team. You're going to learn a lot more about the players. You're joining an A's team now where I feel like a lot of the fans are getting to know the players too. It's such a young team on the up and up. What do you think is the theme or some of the themes you'll be hitting as you go to spring training and learn about these guys?
Yeah, look, the thing about opening day is every team is optimistic, right? That's the great thing about opening day. Whether you're slated, the prognosticators saying you're going to lose 95 games, whatever it is, you're still confident going into opening day, especially with a young team like this. And I'll tell you what, I look at the prospects on this organization, and you guys know better than anyone, like this, the prospects in this organization, it is exciting. All the players they got over from these big trades, they built this system up. And think about the A's, when they go on these turns, they go straight up quickly. They don't take 4 or 5 years to get back up. That's the thing. This organization is so good at rebuilding and really rebuilding in a sense that you got a lot of guys that are major league ready now and guys that are close. So I think that's the exciting part with the Tyler Soderstroms, the Zach Gelofs, the Max Muncy. I mean, the future is bright for this organization. So that's the thing I'm really looking forward to. And then you look, as far as the guys that are on the field now, you got Trevor May as the closer. Now you got the bullpen looks decent. You got battle for rotation spots. Fujinami's here. So you're going to have a battle. You have about 8 or 9 guys battling for those rotation spots. And I love going into spring training when you have guys battling for spots. I think that's the most exciting thing. I don't like when 24 guys are locked in. I've seen that in the years past with teams. And I like the fact that there's going to be competition this spring. So I think it's exciting. I don't know. I'm an eternal optimist with this stuff, but I'm really excited to see what's to come with this team.
That is a very good point. And it's kind of crazy with the A's, how you'll see the A's have a season where they really struggle. And then all of a sudden, 1 year later, they win 94 games in the division. And it's like, how did this happen? How did this team do this so quickly? But to be in an organization, Johnny, where that there is a lot that can happen quickly, it's a lot better, I would imagine, than going in, at the outset of a rebuild and knowing, okay, this is going to be kind of a slog. I don't know what our listenership is going to be like. I don't know what to know that fan base is that passionate. People you've been around for so long. You probably heard from a ton of people since you got this news, who's been, maybe somebody unexpected or somebody that, you didn't realize you had as big of an impact on their life as maybe you did. What have some of the congratulations been like?
Oh man, it's been unbelievable. It's almost like going to your funeral before you die, right? Because you're hearing all these things. It's like, wow, these people reached out from Cedar Rapids. People reached out from all my stops, and I guess the one that surprised me was Michael Kay of the Yankees. He reached out on a tweet and said, "Welcome to the fraternity." I was like, wow, Michael.
That's amazing.
I'm not really starstruck with anybody, but it's like, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to get
amazing.
Get that tweet from him. Just a bunch of people from my past that I haven't heard from in so long. And I get it, but people are just excited. They're excited for you. And they feel like they've been on this journey with you. So man, it's been it was overwhelming. Like all the tweets and everything. I'm not big on Twitter. I'm terrible on Twitter. I say the most mundane things. I'm not exciting. I'm just not good at it. I never have been. It doesn't match my personality. People say you're funny. Why don't you be funny on Twitter? I don't know how. I just don't. So I'm bad on Twitter. But I just think, it took me. I wanted to return every tweet that was personal. And so it took me about 5 hours to return those tweets to say thank you to everybody. I tried to make them all different and things. So it was really cool, man. It felt really good just going through the years and people understanding the journey, understanding. And also I think it's good, as we talked about earlier, the fact that someone that was in 30 years got there. It's cool for guys and girls that have been in the business for a long time, knowing that they can get to the big leagues. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That was really one of the questions that I wanted to ask you about. You are such a beacon for people who have been in the industry for long enough now, where they see somebody who's really good work for a really long time is now being rewarded. That's probably I don't want to refer to it as a responsibility, but that's something that is very cool about where you are now, is there are people who can look at you as the example of like, oh, I can make it there. What does that feel like for you after this road to have accomplished that? And now you give so much hope to so many people.
It feels really good. And I'll tell you, an example was there was a guy that he's in the minor leagues. He's 35 years old. I never met him. And he said, this is really cool. He goes, I feel old for this business and I'm 35. And the guy that got in there, it's 20 years older than me. It made him feel good. Like, wow, I can do this. That made me feel really good, because it is, like there are young people that get in and they start their careers, but there are a lot of guys, especially in our league. We have a lot of talent in our league, man. Our PCL has a lot of guys that could do big league baseball and guys that are older, right? Guys in their 60s, guy in his 70s who's awesome. So it's like you got a lot of good talent there for them to see that it can happen. Gives them hope and makes them feel like they have a shot, and so that part of it has been really, really rewarding, and they've all reached out and just been really happy for me, and I'm elated to represent everybody that they can get there too.
Okay, I've got a question that is always one of my favorites to ask minor league veterans, and that is your most minor league story. I feel like there's always like something that stands out of, the sprinklers came on in the 5th inning and we couldn't get them turned off, or, a mascot ate too many hot dogs and passed out in the bleed. Like, what's the most, when you think back to, oh, that's the encapsulation of my time in minor league baseball? Is there one that stands out or a couple?
There is. And never forget, I was in Burlington, Iowa, when I was in Cedar Rapids. We played Burlington, and there was this lady, this gruff lady who had a big chew in her mouth, big chaw. She was probably in her 60s, and she kept turning around to me and my crowd mic. In the minor leagues, you have to have your crowd mic out there. And there was probably 15 people in the stands, but she sat right by my crowd mic, right? And she kept yelling at me, did the Cubs win? Did the Cubs win? She's yelling at me. I'm like, I'm on the air, and then she started dropping F-bombs in my crowd mic. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. So I had to turn down my crowd mic so it sounded like I was broadcasting on a refrigerator. It was awful. So that's kind of encapsulates.
That is really perfect. That's perfect.
Right? Like I'm in the minor leagues. That's part of it, So it's and there was, of course, the guy in Beloit that was always had the cigar right by my booth too. And it was like, even when nobody in the crowd, he's always sitting right there with a cigar. So I'm breathing in the cigar smoke while I'm calling the game. So there were so many. But because your
voice got a little scratchier and deeper by the end of that broadcast,
exactly.
Just like you're in a cigar lounge in the 1920s.
Exactly, I had that deep voice at the end, But it was, there are so many. I mean, it's just been, it's been wild, just through the years. All the mascots and all the stuff. Myron Noodleman, I miss him. Myron Noodleman was a legend. There are too many to mention, but it's a lot of fun thinking about those minor league stories for sure.
Well, Johnny, I feel like we could talk all day. So in the interest of getting closer to wrapping this up, but one thing we didn't hit yet specifically is you were in Sacramento for 22 years. So as unequivocally positive it is that you got the call to Oakland, I mean, it has to be a little bittersweet now to be leaving the River Cats organization.
Yeah, River Cats. I mean, look, the Savages, they brought me in, and the late Art Savage, who I miss all the time, they hired me there. Gary Arthur and those guys, they hired me. So I was really grateful for that. I went from Fresno to Sacramento. and was there a long time, with the A's affiliate, 2001 to 2014. Then we went to the Giants, and got some great relationships there, and enjoyed that. So yeah, it has been a wild ride, and all those championships. Billy Beane and David Forrest and company, they gave the River Cats so many great teams through the years. It was incredible. Like, we were loaded with teams. We won 9 out of 10 division championships, 5 PCL championships, 4, I think, what was it? 3 Triple-A championships, 5 PCL championships, and winning teams every year. I mean, we were loaded and drew so well. So yeah, there's just so much, and the people that I was around, and I felt like a mini big league job a lot of times. It really did. So I'm going to miss a lot of the people there, and it was awesome. I mean, just being a part of that Sacramento and that fan base is awesome. They love their baseball. They know their baseball. They're knowledgeable. So it was a incredible run, and I'll miss them for sure, but I'm very happy where I landed for sure.
Yeah, and for a number of years now, you've had your signature sign off of sorts, saying "Good night, Em," to your daughter Emily, which is also the title of your book of baseball haiku.
Yeah.
Are you going to continue with that and find a way to incorporate that into the broadcast?
Well, first of all, I don't think, since I'm not the number one guy on the air, I don't think I'll be able to, because I never did it during day games. So I always do it at night games. So I think either Vinny or Ken will be the number one guy. So I won't get the 9th inning. So I don't think I'll really be able to do it, at least for a while. So I think that Good Night Em might be kind of on the back burner until I'm able to do it. So it's just, I respect it. I mean, it's just like, I always said that in Cedar, I said that when Emmy was born, and I've been saying it ever since. People think I stole that from Billy Crystal in that Parental Guidance or whatever that movie was, but actually I have proof that I was saying it before that movie was around, 4 years before it was around. So if anybody says he got that, no, I didn't. They got it from me. But I'm saying they got it from me, but I said it first for sure. That's factual. But yeah, no, Good Night Em is something I love saying, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to say it again, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, that's a little bittersweet, but
I don't know.
You never know.
I don't know. Maybe someday, but I think, I'm not going to be able to say it like, I'm not going to say it after, if I go back to the 8th inning from the 7th, let's go to the 8th. Good night, Em. Here's Vinny. I just can't,
Yeah. Now, what about, is it Holy Kudelka? Is that the?
Yeah, that was what I used to say in Cedar Rapids. There was a Jeff Kudelka who I met in Cresco, Iowa, and I just fell in love with the name, so I started saying Holy Kudelka. But I kind of dropped that over the years. I haven't really said that too much. That goes back a ways. That Holy Kudelka. That goes back to my Cedar Rapids days for sure. Great Czechoslovakian name.
Yeah. Well, Holy Kudelka, you're in the big leagues, and really enjoyed. Yes. Really enjoyed having you on the podcast. And
thanks, guys. I enjoyed it. Good to see you guys. Thank you for having me anytime.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. They go perfectly with music, podcasts, and welcome back to the show. Even nature sounds. Oh, and the thing where someone crinkles tissue and whispers at you. Hello. Look, I'm not here to judge what you listen to. I'm here to judge you for not eating Reese's while you listen to it. Reese's. Actually, go back to the nature sounds. Nice. Yeah, that's really nice.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you another thrilling edition of Ghosts of the Miners. Now, here's your correspondent and host, Joshua Jackson.
Welcome back to Ghosts of the Miners, in which all of you out there in Radioland must identify the legitimate historical ball club hiding amidst the fraudulent pair. One was a real working farm team. The others are just a seedling of an idea. In the last segment, I asked you which of the following minor league baseball teams did at one time exist. A, the Fresno Fruit Thieves. B, the Watonga Weeds. C, the Centralia Pets. What a good boy or girl you are if you picked C, the Centralia Pets, who were the Cats Meow in the Washington State League of 1911. In the early 20th century, pets was common slang for one's favorite person or thing. Alas, Gustav Mahler has died, one might say. He was my pet composer. Or, more likely, Eddie Foy is on Broadway tonight. He's my pet. Or, Eddie Collins may be the better second baseman, but I'm a Cubs bug, and Heine Zimmerman is my pet. Most commonly, a baseball scribe might refer in print to the local team as our pets. There's some evidence that the 1911 Centralia team didn't have an official nickname at all, not uncommon for the time, and the name went into the history books because the press frequently referred to the team as the manager's pets. Which manager? Well, at season start, the Pets were on the leash of one W.W. or W.R. Patton. Most sources today call him W.R., but in newspapers of the era, he was W.W. By any initials, initially, Patton was the Pets' manager, but he shocked team officials and fans by abruptly resigning on July 26. The Centralia Weekly Chronicle reported, Manager Patton gave no reason for his actions other than to state that he wished to go on a trip with his family, and that he would rather a permanent manager be appointed in his place. Presumably, the best candidate said, I wouldn't take that job if my name was Mud. It wasn't. It was Muck. Guy Muck, a local baseball lover who found the Pets in need of hardly any grooming. They were on top of the Washington State League dog pile ever since the season started, and Guy Muck did nothing to muck things up the rest of the way. Yes, every other team was chasing the Pets' tail. They won the whole shebang, going 38-17 as I.H. Guyan led the loop with 72 hits, and Heine Berger was in the catbird seat with a 7-2 showing on the mound. It wasn't that the Pets were in the doghouse for the 1912 season so much as the new thing rolled into town and brought bad luck. The Centralia entry for the Washington State League in 1912 came to be known as both the Railroaders and the Black Cats, and they were 16-21 when the circuit disbanded in July. And that's how the Pets ran away. Now, on to the question for next time. Which of these teams would have been a podcast favorite in the minors of yesteryear? A, the Yosemite Sams. B, the Grand Rapids Joshers. C, the Tyler Tylerians. D, the South Bend Bends. Want to know the answer? Subscribe, or tune into the next Ghosts of the Minors. But for now, you'll have to excuse me. My producer Ben Hill is asking for credit, and he's already hit the debt ceiling.
Final segment of this week's episode of the show before the show. Huge thanks to Johnny Doskow for stopping by, and big congratulations to him. A's fans, you're getting a really good one. Ben and Sam have to run off to other bigger and cooler obligations than hanging out with me on Zoom today. And gents, you guys enjoy the day. Can't wait to do it again next week. It's one of the bright spots of my week, seeing your two smiling faces on my computer screen.
I'm sorry we had to run, Tyler, but it's for very, very exciting reasons.
Yeah.
We might be able to reveal someday.
Maybe someday.
That's the ultimate tease.
Yeah, hopefully we can talk about it. But all I'll say is that Sam and I are part of a big idea and people are listening.
Oh, I like that. I like that framing. All right. Well, for these two dudes, Benjamin Hill, Sam Dykstra, Josh Jackson, my name is Tyler Mon. We'll talk to you next week.